Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, Master of Ceremony, Mr. Sayuti, and also our distinguished guests. Alhamdulillah, we are now almost at the end of the seminar. This will be the final session and also the last keynote address for this program. And I know that it's almost 4 p.m., but I hope that everyone can stay focused and bear with us because our next speaker is a very special one and a very dear friend of IAIS Malaysia. Dr. Kalitasan Kailasam is the manager of River Care Program for Global Environment Center GC. He is also a recognized leader in community-based river pollution control and rehabilitation in Malaysia. He has nearly 10 years working experience in pollution management, stakeholder consultation, community participation, river restoration and rehabilitation in Malaysia. And he has vast experience in pollution control from different pollution sources. And he involved with developing and promoting adoption of environmental friendly and natural solutions to river and lake pollution, like EcoFan, wetland cell, river within river concept, ripples and pools, and many others as part of pollution control. And also he enhanced the biodiversity and aesthetic values of urban rivers. And also he initiated solid waste management approaches for several stakeholders, including recycling bank, composting, garbage enzyme, mud ball, nature craft, and making of soap and candle from used cooking oil. And he was also appointed as panel for many community-based programs from various parties and institutions. So on top of this impressive profile, I would like to share with you that Dr. Kali is also the man behind the module that we just launched today, Module Islam dan Pemeliharaan Sungai. So to share with you a bit, Dr. Kalitasan and his team from GC came to IAIS Malaysia, and he asked IAIS to explore the Islamic principles and values in order to promote river care and water protection in Malaysia. And when I asked him why we should be doing this, he said that he believed that Islam has many good things to offer when it comes to river care and water protection. So that's why we secretly gave him an Arabic nickname, which is Dr. Khalid Hassan. Khalid means eternal, everlasting, sustainable, and Hassan means good. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, allow me to invite the last speaker for today, which will be speaking on river care and rehabilitation in Malaysia, Dr. Kalitasan Kailasam.
Thank you for the very impressive and very long introduction, Dr. Aziz. Thank you very much. First of all, on behalf of GEC, I'd like to thank the organizer for giving opportunity to be with this such an important seminar, which is an annual event here. As we know, I'm a strong believer that all stakeholders, regardless, when we say direct or indirect involvement within the environment, okay, need to be engaged. I'm a strong believer of that. And also, my presentation, as we know, today is the last presentation. I believe is not the least important, but of course, always ring in behind of each of our mind what time we're going to finish so that I can beat the jam and so on. So therefore, you don't need to worry about presentation because you can get the copy from the secretariat. And there's no copyright, anything. You can copy and use. Please use. Knowledge is meant to be shared. Okay? Jangan kedekut ilmu. Okay? We can share. So no need to worry whether if I skip any of the slide or this thing. The most important, the key messages that I liked to share. I'm not here to teach like what Professor, he is very experienced. I'm still new. I'm still learning. I'm here to share as far as possible to learn and share with all of us here. Of course, as the title, okay, there will be a slight introduction about who we are, and then the rivers in Malaysia, and then river restoration or rehabilitation. I'm not going to go into technical aspect. Believe me, when you look into my presentation, you will understand more on the philosophy. Because none of us can say what you and I should do, because nobody going to listen, especially the new generation. The moment you say, please do this, they say the first question they will ask, why? Why should I do? Or why can I do that? You see? So we cannot give instruction like those days. We need to change our approach. So the presentation, the flow of this will be more on the philosophy and concept rather than the actual physical work, and the way forward and summary. Global Environment Center is a locally registered NGO. This year is our 20th anniversary. And even though we locally registered, we have project in more than 11 countries. And some of the key project area is the river care, which I'm aiding. Beside that, we are the Secretariat for the ASEAN government on peat fire prevention. So we have peat project, which is funded by EU, big project. Beside that, we also have forest and biod, and also outreach. Then within the river care, one of the key things, success for me for the last 20 years is to change from the technical aspect of river management to the layman term. You know what is that? River care, we care. Because previously, when we started there, we always use IWRM or IRBM, Integrated Water Resource Management or Integrated River Basin Management, and we are championing on that. But unfortunately, the layman, the intended target group, the beneficiary can't be same line with us. They see we as an alien. Yes, you can do. See, so now as we move on, we evolve, we change from the technical, from the science background, which previously I thought I'm an environmentalist, I'm a scientist, to social element. We need to know how to communicate. The success of any program is based on how good we communicate to the intended target group. That is the most important there. No? So we change to river care, we care. Of course, we involve from the policy up to the kindergarten. I've been in parliament when the service, water and service industrial bill was drafted. I was in the parliament to argue on that. And same thing, I was in kindergarten to talk about the importance of early education as well. So GC involved in all levels because we need everyone. We need to balance the top-down and bottom-up approach. Okay, from the policy to the education, in between that is the implementation. So rivers in Malaysia, I think everyone knows. Do you know how many rivers we have in Malaysia? I got shocked when I look at the statistic. I know we got some rivers, but I never knew that we have 2,986 rivers. But unfortunately, when you compare our country in Western country or even in the other countries, that our river is relatively short. Even though we say we have 2,986, but our river is relatively short. But nevertheless, it's not easy to manage. Even though we say our rivers is short, but issue is very complicated. Very, very complicated. And if you look into the issue on that, when we say river, one of the key things that I like to highlight there is when we say river, what's the picture that you have in your mind is important. When we say river, what's running through your mind? Is it the Teh Tarik river? What is the color of the river? When I say river, what picture coming into your mind? That is the deciding factor. The moment you say river, people always look at the Klang River as a Teh Tarik. That's number one. Number two, they see the concrete channelized and so on. Very few, when we say river, the picture coming to the mind is a natural river because we hardly can see any river. If we even go to Penchala, the nearest tributary, 3/4 of that been channelized and so on. So, but we are talking about natural river. And as a natural river, the number one, as Prof mentioned about this thing, river is a living entity. This is my key point number one for the whole presentation today to this evening. River is a living entity. So therefore, he have his own characteristic that we need to understand before you manage it. You want to manage our kids, you have to understand our kids, isn't it? Same goes to the river. Because river is a living entity. Okay? Of course, he have a characteristic. I am not going to go detail because today is not a teaching. But I'm here exposing that the first thing, river is a living entity. And as a living entity, what does it mean? Number one, first and foremost, all rivers are not same. So you cannot expect the same solution for all the rivers. There's no single or universal solution for the rivers. Same like we cannot bring our children in the same way, even though it's both is my kids, both my son, but the way I treat, the way they behave is totally different, correct? Same goes to the river. Number two, river is not alone. It's like we are never alone. We have either family, when intended family, immediate family, or society and so on. River is not alone. River and the valley. That's very important. We have to understand. We cannot treat river as a river itself. We have to see as a river and the whole system or river basin, whatever term they use. The third one, as a living entity, river is one of the most important hosts in the planet of Earth. It hosts everything, including you and I. Okay? And then, the fourth one, when we say living entity, river is a self-sustaining entity. River can look after itself. God created river in such a way that river can look after itself. Unfortunately, we who remove a lot of factor and make that river cannot sustain itself. I'll show you what are the elements, and it play important in a lot of factors that I don't want to go detail. Number one, as I say, river and its valley is very important that when we say river management, we have to look into the river basin concept. If you look at the diagram there, so the moment you disturb any of this, it will cause a lot of significant changes, okay? And that is cost to the disaster that we are facing now. When we say sustainable development, all these things, is all because basically that we fail to understand how river and valley function. We fail to treat that as a living entity. We fail to understand that we need to understand how river flow and so on, biological element and so on. That's the first one. Number two, all streams are not equal. If you see the rivers, they have the characteristic, ripples and pools, meandering, and each characteristic given by the God, the multi-God, it has its own function. But unfortunately, we, Homo sapien, human being, so smart, we alter that. The river is meander in nature. What we do, I'm not against any engineers here. I'm just sharing here. What do? We straighten that. Is it a good idea? Well, we know the answer now. We follow the Western culture, the Western technology. Whenever someone knock our door, we always see open high over the other outsiders' technology. So we adopt. Now you go to that same country, they are going back to the nature. Whereas we are stuck within this artificial way or the structural way. Okay? So these are the things. So we have to understand the river before we manage it. Don't too excited to manage with the science knowledge alone. I think the whole presentation from the 11 o'clock, people are talking about, and I like this is on the religious perspective. So we need to beyond normal way of thinking, normal way of approach and so on. So that's second one. And then third, self-sustaining entity. This is a very important characteristic of the river. As I say, it can look after itself. River can look after itself, provided we don't disturb the system. So one of the cleansing agent of this characteristic is we have what we call, if you look at that, wetland cells. The river have its own bank. It have plants, selected plants we call wetland plants and so on, which give the ability to purify herself. So with that, final message is you and I, as one of the creatures of the God, multi-God, that we are part of the system. We are the only creatures that we have sixth sense who can think for others. So please, please, please do our role, not only for our generation, but also the future generation, the upcoming generation. Because environment not belong to us, is been borrowed, okay, land to us by the future generation. And so with that, please do your part, regardless how small, how big, it doesn't matter. You just have to do, just do. If you cannot find the reason to do for no reason. You don't need to have a reason to do good things. With that, thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Dr. K. Kalitasan, for the wonderful speech. I think at least, I hope that it will be a wake-up call for everyone to take action. And maybe if I can recap a few messages from your speech. The first one is we should treat river and water as a living entity. This is very much in line with the message from the Quran. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ, and we have created from water every living creatures. And the second one is all river is not in good state. And the last one is it is our responsibility of everyone to take action. Like Dr. Kali said, everyone should remember their responsibility as the Khalifa. And everyone should never walk alone. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, with the authority given to me as the moderator, I would like to make a slight change to this session. Before we can proceed with the interactive session, I would like to invite someone who is very special. I would like to make a benefit of his presence in today's seminar. I would like to invite Saudara Eddie Malik or Mas Budi Malik to share his experience in protecting Sungai Selangor.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera semua. Sebelum tu saya perkenalkan diri saya. Nama saya Mas Budi Abdul Malik. Lebih mesra panggil Eddie. Saya merupakan penyelaras kelab Inspirasi Kawa, Mukir Pasangan, Kuala Selangor. Apa yang saya lakukan adalah berkaitan dengan konservasi Sungai Selangor. Kita mendidik generasi muda-muda, adik terutamanya golongan sekolah rendah dan sekolah menengah. Kita train adik-adik ni berkaitan dengan sungai, bakau dan kelip-kelip. Pada asalnya, pada mulanya sebelum saya menjalankan projek untuk sayangi Sungai Selangor, River Cleanup, sebelum ni saya merupakan nature guide juga, pemandu pelancong kelip-kelip di Kampung Kuantan. So dalam masa yang sama, jadi bila pelancong datang, kita macam nature guide selalu pergi tempat cantik-cantik, nak bawa orang tempat cantik-cantik. Kita sendiri pun nak pergi melancong pun tempat cantik-cantik. Tapi daripada situ terdetik kenapalah tempat cantik ni kita tak ada sumbangkan dalam untuk mencantikkan satu tempat tu. So daripada situ saya jadikan permulaan lah. Saya turun sungai di Sungai Selangor seorang diri, kutip sampah waktu petang. Dalam 5-6 guni, lepas tu naik dekat atas jeti, lepas tu orang akan kau buat apa? Kerja bodoh, kerja gila, tak dapat duit. Itu normal. Memang saya pada awalnya memang akan ada kecaman daripada penduduk kampung ataupun masyarakat lah. Dalam masa yang sama, bila saya post dekat dalam social media, ramailah ada yang support kawan-kawan daripada gunung. So daripada situ ada kolaborasi daripada tim-tim hiking untuk sama-sama untuk konservasi Sungai Selangor. So daripada situ saya bermula tanpa modal. Sebenarnya kos dia tinggi untuk konservasi ni. Tapi apa yang ada kita buat secara gotong royong bersama dengan adik-adik Inspirasi Kawa dan kawan-kawan. Setelah lepas tu, alhamdulillah untuk daripada 2017 saya dapat grant daripada NRCF, daripada GEC. So untuk tambah modal untuk konservasi. Setelah 2-3 tahun selepas itu baru tajaan daripada Yayasan Atalega. Okay. So apa yang Sungai Selangor ni penting kepada komuniti. Ramai komuniti sebenarnya tak tahu air yang diorang guna datang daripada mana. So saya cuba mengajar dari segi perbuatan saya. So untuk diorang faham yang air bersih adalah daripada Sungai Selangor yang berdekatan dengan diorang. Okay. So Sungai Selangor tadi penting untuk komuniti sumber air. 60% air daripada Sungai Selangor ni adalah untuk Klang Valley, KL dan Selangor. Dalam masa yang sama adalah kaya dengan ekopelancongan, kelip-kelip. So pendapatan komuniti adalah pelancongan. So apa yang ada di Sungai Selangor sekarang ni? Sungai Selangor, ancaman yang utama adalah kebersihannya adalah sampah sarap. Sampah sarap ni paling banyak. Sebab apa? Pengurusan sampah yang tak boleh kata tidak baik lah. Sebab komuniti di sepanjang Sungai Selangor ni lebih kurang ada 15 kampung. Orang kampung dia rumah tak dibayar cukai, tak dibayar cukai, so tak ada penyediaan sampah oleh PBT. Secara tradisionalnya, orang-orang kampung akan korek lubang macam perigi, buang sampah kat situ. Masalahnya bila air pasang besar, sampah tu akan ikut sekali. Waktu air surut akan ikut ke dalam sungai. Itu yang masalah yang utama yang masih ada di Sungai Selangor. Apa yang saya cuba buat kat sini, tarik masyarakat daripada generasi muda dan golongan pertengahan dan orang lama untuk bersama-sama dalam konservasi Sungai Selangor. Apa yang dalam 5 tahun ni saya dapat engagement daripada golongan belia, golongan masjid dan generasi-generasi muda. Macam mana saya nak tarikkan dia orang? So saya kena letakkan diri saya dalam dunia dia orang. Contohnya untuk generasi muda, kalau adik-adik suka main bola ataupun main PUBG, saya main PUBG. Terpaksa macam tu. Walaupun saya bukan kaki gaming, saya terpaksa nak tackle hati-hati adik-adik ni. So kalau orang lama saya pergi masjid. So kita dalam masa yang sama kita jangan cerita lebih pada akademik sangat. Kita buat apa yang kita termampu saja. So kita mengajar dia orang dari segi perbuatan kita sendiri. Okey. Yang ini sampah yang biasa ada di Sungai Selangor adalah kebanyakannya adalah plastik. Plastik paling banyak. So kita akan nampak kat sini polystyrene, botol plastik, kaca. Okey, yang ini bersama dengan Yayasan Taliga. Tahun ni juga dalam masa 2 jam 1.5 tan. Secara manual lah, kita ambil a net, kita collect. So dalam selepas tu, lepas kita collect dalam masa 2 jam tu, kita akan recordkan, timbang, lepas tu kita asingkan setiap kategori apa yang kita mampulah. So ini contoh sampahnya. Botol kaca. Kenapa banyak? Okey, ini yang biasa yang memang ada kat rumah, memang ada kat sungai. Mainan. Ada juga yang paling pelik yang sebenarnya saya dapat adalah body part kereta, lampu isyarat. Pernah tak adik-adik tanya, "Bang, sampan dekat sungai ni perlukan lampu isyarat ke?" Kan? Okey, yang ini daripada international student daripada overseas. So bersama-sama untuk konservasi Sungai Selangor. So banyak pelibatan sekarang ni yang apa yang saya nampak dalam masa 3 tahun yang kebelakangan ni. Sebelum ni saya buat sendiri. Bermulanya tadi alone kan. Lepas tu dah ada kerjasama. Yang paling penting adalah sekarang ni kerjasama semua pihak. Engagement dengan agensi kerajaan, engagement dengan corporate, engagement dengan universiti dan local community. So saya sebagai, boleh kata, jadi orang tengah lah untuk selesaikan apa yang kita mampu antara agensi kerajaan dengan komuniti. Itu je lah pendekatan yang boleh kita untuk penambahbaikan konservasi Sungai Selangor. So dalam masa yang sama pun sebab klip kalau ikutkan 2006 hingga 2016 dah reduce up to 42% kalau ikut kajian frame. Dia salah satu faktor adalah bukan populasi habitat pada pokok berembang saja. Dia kualiti air Sungai Selangor pun memain faktor untuk pengurangan klip-klip. So kita ada buat konservasi, kita buat replanting, kita buat seedling mangrove. Okay. Okay. So saya ada share video. So video ni sebelum ni dikenali Alami Kawa. Alami bermaksud experience, Kawa tu bermaksud sungai dalam bahasa Jepun. So sebelum ni saya engagement dengan Universiti Malaya yang lebih expert berkaitan dengan akademik lah, berkaitan dengan sungai, firefly dan mangrove. So sekarang ni saya wujudkan tukarkan nama Inspirasi Kawah dan kolaborasi dengan Yayasan Atalega.
So ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause to Saudara Eddie Malik for his work and contribution for River Cairn water protection.